Hi everyone, I'm Sabrina.
And I'm Jonathan, and we are the lawyers at Varity Law. We have been doing these videos on law for over a year now. Many of our viewers really want to know about the Varity Law team as well.
Of course. So today, I will share my professional and personal experiences with everyone.
Thank you, Sabrina. So, you graduated undergrad from the University of Toronto, is that correct?
Yes, I completed my Honors Bachelor of Arts from U of T. Fun fact, I also met my husband there.
Haha, interesting. That's two birds with one stone, I guess you could say.
Yeah, thank you. While doing my undergrad, I tested for LSAT and applied to numerous law schools. Upon receiving several offers, I decided to go to Osgoode Hall Law School.
Why did you choose that law school?
Two reasons. First, I grew up in Toronto, so I don't want to leave the city. I really want to contribute to the environment that I was raised in. Second, Osgoode offered a lot of programs that will give me practical experience.
What do you mean by that?
Well, Osgoode partnered with many charities where they would send law students in to volunteer. As I was always passionate about helping entrepreneurs, I decided to volunteer at a non-for-profit organization called Venture Lab. There, I offered tech startups legal information about how to best run their business.
I bet those entrepreneurs were very delighted to have your help.
Oh, for sure. They were all very appreciative. My favorite workshop there was when they came in and did a pitch about their business ideas and products, kind of like Dragon's Den. I was invited to those workshops to give some legal information relevant to their business. I especially loved pointing out pitfalls that they didn't know existed and helping them avoid common and costly legal problems.
Is that what fueled you to start your own business, Varity Law?
Yes. And once I became a business owner myself, I could tap into my personal experiences to help fellow entrepreneurs. For example, when I was incorporating my business, I realized that there are many templates I could find online for free. However, upon reading those templates, I realized they presented many problems. For instance, there is a section on the articles that asks if there are any share transfer restrictions. Most people would not understand what this means and would just put no restrictions.
Oh, for sure. But putting no restrictions there would mean that any existing shareholders could transfer their shares to a stranger. Then the shareholders who remain in the corporation would need to operate the business with that stranger. A better choice is to put a restriction there so this wouldn't happen, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Then, as Varity Law developed, you encountered new problems, I believe.
Yes, development is great, but also comes with its own set of issues. First, I had to sign a lease agreement with the landlord. Since most commercial leases last for 5 to 10 years, I read over each clause very carefully. Specifically, I ensured that all management fees are itemized in the lease, so there won't be any surprises when I come to my monthly rent and TMI. Also, as the landlord owned multiple units in the building, I added a clause stating that he cannot move me to another unit without my agreement.
That is very wise, and something that I would bet most entrepreneurs don't even think of.
Oh, for sure. You really need to think like a lawyer. Of course, I also ensure that I have a comprehensive client agreement with each client. That way, if there were ever disputes about fees or the services provided, we have resolution clauses that deal with each situation. We only need to settle our dispute by going through the lengthy and expensive court process. Lastly, we have proper employment agreement with the rest of our team to ensure we're on the same page regarding salary, bonuses, overtime, duties to be performed, and dispute resolution.
Yes, and all of those factors could lead to conflicts and litigation down the line. So it was a good thing that you set up proper rules right from the beginning.
Exactly.
Next, I know after some years of operating Varity Law, a huge event happened in your life. Would you mind telling us about it?
Yes. Shockingly, my mom was diagnosed with late-stage cancer, and unfortunately, she passed away. Although it was the most painful time of my life, I cannot stop and grieve. I had to do her probate right away.
As our viewers know, when we pass, most of our assets will be immediately frozen. Our executor must apply to the court for an approval document to get those assets unfrozen so they can give them to the beneficiaries. This process is called probate.
Luckily, my mom had a valid will, so probate was done within 6 months. If she had no will, it was going to take at least 1 year. Nevertheless, the stress was off the roof during this waiting period.
Because there was an outstanding mortgage on her house, right?
Yes. And the bank has been asking me why is regular mortgage payment not made. Once I told them that the house owner had passed, they expressed their condolences, but also said all of the outstanding mortgage must be paid immediately.
So you could not keep up the monthly mortgage payments?
I could not afford it, but even if I could, the bank would not accept it. When a property owner passes, the bank considers that the property owner defaulted on their mortgage agreement. This allows the bank to ask for the entire outstanding mortgage immediately.
Oh my word, that must have been so stressful for you.
It was. And in the worst case scenario, the bank could start power of sale and sell my mom's house without my agreement. Luckily, because probate was done so fast, I was able to sell my mom's house in time to pay for the outstanding mortgage.
What about her other expenses, such as funeral costs and her pre-authorized payments?
Right. So the first thing I did is going to the bank and telling them that my mom has passed. Then I told both the bank and the service providers to cancel all PAPs. Those include phone companies, internet, etc. If I didn't do that, the PAPs would just continue deducting money from my mom's bank account until there's nothing left. Now, the funeral expense could be reimbursed to me or paid directly to the funeral home by the bank.
Yes, as long as the funeral is not unreasonably expensive, the bank should have no problem paying that legitimate expense from the deceased bank account.
Correct, thank God.
Lastly, I know you've bought a home and sold a home before, is that correct?
Yes, we bought a house in Ottawa because it was really affordable. Nevertheless, during the purchase process, I still took every single precaution. First, I hired a property inspector to ensure that the house had no major defects. This was a great call, as the house had multiple places that would cost thousands of dollars to repair. So according to my property inspection condition on the purchase agreement, the seller had to repair all those areas before closing.
Wow, that is very smart of you, and it saved you thousands of dollars.
Yeah, for sure. And then I did a routine title search to ensure there's no registered debt or litigation that I would need to inherit after the house transferred over to me.
Very wise, as those registered debts do attach to the house and not the seller who incurred them.
Yes. I also did a property tax search with the city and demanded that the seller pay off all taxes owing, so I only need to pay them off after closing. Lastly, I did a work order search to ensure the house was built to code and that there was no illegal renovations.
Oh, that is a smart choice, especially for a lawyer purchasing their own house. You wouldn't want to forget to do that.
Yes. Then I got a house that was problem-free. Nevertheless, since I was still more attached to Toronto, I decided to sell the house and move back to Toronto.
And your sale process went very smooth, I believe.
Correct. But that's only because, again, I took every precaution under the sun. During the time I owned the Ottawa house, I did several renovations. Each time I did the reno, I ensured that all permits with the city was applied for and granted. So when the seller did the house inspection and title search, they could find no problems.
Of course, you also paid your property taxes and utilities on time, and you did the vacant home tax declaration so there would be no additional property taxes added onto the bill.
Yes.
Well, Sabrina, it certainly appears that both your professional career and your personal experiences align with our clients' needs in a business law, real estate, or wills and estate situation. You know the options that would benefit them the most from both your legal and personal perspective.
Yes, and meaningfully contributing to our clients and resolving their problems, as well as helping them in their most dire time of need, is why Varity Law exists. All right, that's enough about me. I will see everyone in our next month's video.